Hey guys, Erica Scoccio here with the Childcare Directors Chair podcast, and I am joined with our friends over at Oklahoma, AEYC. We are joined with Bailey and Amanda, and we're going to talk a little bit about what their state is doing in terms of membership and professional development, and just kind of how they are helping folks with connecting opportunities, networking, and all the awesome things that help drive a state affiliate. So, welcome to the show, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Amanda, we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit how you ended up here in your role at your state affiliate.
So I'm the business manager, and it's actually a fun story, how I got here, because I would say the first time I became a member, I was a member of NAEYC. I got a notification as to apply for a scholarship. So, and the first year I had it, I wasn't really sure what to do with it, to tell you the truth. As an early childhood professional, I was like, I'm not really sure I see the benefits of this, honestly. And then as I kind of went further down the road and got to go to these amazing conferences, I realized, well, this is why. And I know not every early childhood professional gets an opportunity to do that, but it just is about being a part of something bigger, feeling valued and important as a professional. So that was really the first steps. And then learning about actually that we have affiliates, that I had been to these conferences and just thought, oh, they're just NAEYC. And Oklahoma AEYC is also affiliate of SECA, Southern Early Childhood Association, as well as NAEYC. And so anyway, I got, after the pandemic, I was kind of looking for something in person desperately, and had the opportunity to go out of state, and I found a conference in Michigan and learned that it was their affiliate conference. So it was kind of a happy accident, and I thought, why don't we have this in Oklahoma? It turns out we do, but it was just a little different. So I just really was inspired by how they did it there, and I wanted what they had, and so I just sought the organization out, became a part of the board, and now the business manager. So it's a fun story.
I love that. Bailey, what about you?
Yeah. So I worked, actually, Amanda and I go way back because we started working as childcare consultants together. Gosh, that might have been like almost 10 years ago or something now. Maybe more like 6 or 7, but
yeah, you might be right.
It was a long time ago. We were working as childcare consultants, and I actually joined NAEYC because I was presenting at their international conference. That year it was in DC. I did some research in grad school about affordability and access to childcare, specifically in Oklahoma, looking at like middle income families and how they just evaluate. This was before, obviously, the pandemic, but learning a little bit more about their experience trying to navigate and access childcare, which has become increasingly more difficult for families in the middle income bracket, as we know. So was kind of on the beginning right of that, and knew that OKAEYC was a state affiliate, but was a little confused about how that operated in our state. We're a really small kind of like grassroots membership organization. Like Amanda was saying, like Michigan and other state affiliates have like really big events and budgets and things like that. And in Oklahoma, we don't really have that. We are a small but connected and mighty team that puts on really great professional development opportunities for our members, and are continuing to try and grow that under Amanda's leadership.
So, fun fact, ladies, I'm from Rhode Island, which is the smallest state. And so I get all the small intimacy parts of having a small community. And
you can drive across Rhode Island in 2 hours, right?
Less than that.
Yeah.
I have a Mustang, so definitely less than that.
That's funny.
And another fun fact is my youngest brother, who's not really little at this point. He's like, I think he just had a birthday. He's like 35. He moved from Rhode Island to Oklahoma. He was in Oklahoma for about 5 years. He met his wife there. They have now moved to Florida, but I was like, Oklahoma, like you moved from Rhode Island to Oklahoma? He's like, yeah, why not? I said, I don't know, just seemed random, but yeah. So my brother was out in your state for just about 5 years.
Yeah.
Nice.
So Yeah, so I love both of how you came in to your roles. And I think a lot of folks can relate to that. The first thing that you said, Amanda, is like, why join? Like, what is, besides having a card in my wallet and saying, yeah, I'm a member of that, like, you really do have to be involved. For as weird as it sounds, you've got to be engaged, right?
Yeah.
If not, it just becomes like a something in your wallet, right? You got to be engaged with the community. And the great thing is, like you had mentioned, there's your state affiliate, but it's so much even bigger than beyond your state. You can go to conferences at other affiliates, you can go to the national. So it's just nice to have that community that you really can build off of. And each state, I think, as I'm learning and meeting folks from all the different states, you all bring something different, special, or unique. You all tackle it in a different way, although the bigger picture is typically the same. You know, advocacy, supporting our membership, that type of thing. The way that people do it is a little different. So that's why I started reaching out to state affiliates and say, hey, I want to learn more. So yeah, so let's talk about the work that you guys are doing in terms of membership benefits. So let's talk a little bit about that. Let's kind of dissect what that looks like.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been.
Go ahead,
Go ahead.
Bailey.
I was going to say, we've been trying to really isolate what our members in Oklahoma get out of membership. And it really seems like those professional development opportunities are a big thing, and being able to have a chance to build community. So, Amanda, do you want to talk about our first Thursday trainings and a little bit about the conference?
Yeah, so really this past year, I've been here, it'll be a year in January. So this past year, we're just kind of digging deep and figuring out what providers need. And of course, we've always been that professional development, that's the main thing that we do. But over this past year, we've dabbled into some different things. I've done a lot of research on what other affiliates do and just kind of learning, like, what do providers really want and how can we give that to them? And so this year we did first Thursday training. So once a month we had a virtual training where all of our board members chipped in and found some excellent trainers and themselves also provided training. Bailey provided some trainings for us as well. So each month we would have a new speaker on an interesting topic, and providers could come and members could do it for free. And then non-members pay a really small price to join that. And you, if you were a member, you could get all of the hours. If you attended all of them, you could get all the hours you needed for the year, really. So it was really a good benefit for that. So, and we've added our leadership symposium this year. We brought it back. It went away for a little while, and it was a first year bring it back, and it was small and intimate, but so powerful, and everybody really enjoyed it, and you could just feel the energy. So we're really excited to bring even more things this coming year.
Yeah,
Sure.
I love, well, two things about that. So so you're doing these sessions, you said virtually, like on a Zoom?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what's nice about that, because we all know we can like do trainings online, right? Like that's the big thing. But what's so nice about what you guys are doing is that folks are able to ask questions, right? And there's that back and forth, or someone else asks a question, you're like, and the aha bell goes off. So I just always love that so much more than, going on, and no offense, Pro Solutions, but like, going on to something that's like just a creative video and then you answer some questions. I always think there's some magic when you get people together, whether in person or virtually. And the other thing that I love that you guys are doing around leadership, because let's face it, most folks who are running early childhood programs maybe don't always get the leadership side or the business side. Many of them come in as educators. You're a great teacher, and then you get promoted and you have all these new jobs that maybe you never have done before. So I love that you're, addressing that need for the leadership piece as well. So good job there. For sure.
What we've really loved about, like Amanda was saying, I did a training for one of our first Thursday trainings, and some of them are, some of them aren't. But for instance, I run programs for a grief agency in Central Oklahoma now. And so I was able to talk about grief in childhood and how that affects like infants and toddlers, and educate our members on a local resource. I think everyone who attended our training was connected in the Oklahoma City metro or Tulsa metro area, which are two major cities in our state. And they were able to learn about grief agencies in their areas and places to refer families if they experience loss. So that's also a little bit in the magic sauce, I would say, of some of the professional development opportunities we're offering, is that they are local to our state. So our providers here are getting educated on other resources that can benefit them and the families they serve.
Yeah, and I think too, not only do you bring those agencies to those folks, but also folks from those agencies become aware of what, early childhood is doing in your state. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a nice way to build community for each other and then in families too.
Yeah.
That we all work with, right? I mean, we are, let's face it, early childhood programs are part of the community and a big part, and oftentimes we are leading. So that's really great that you're reaching out to other agencies. So you do some work around networking. So what type of networking, like, do you do in-person networking opportunities, or is that something you guys are thinking about?
Yeah, so we started one of our virtual sessions, we did hybrid. So we kind of did a little test run, and we're really like this next year hoping to bring some more in-person or maybe even hybrid events, because we know that people still have so much access to things online. But like you said, being live with people is so much better than just watching a series. You get so much more out of it. So we hope to have a lot more of that in this next year. But yeah, we've kind of dabbled in it this year. And like I said, our annual conference and our leadership symposium were great opportunities to network for that for this year.
Yeah, because I can definitely see that as a benefit too, especially as folks are sometimes feeling like burnt out or overwhelmed. Like sometimes just that feeling of getting along with other folks that, maybe feel that same way or that energy, and then making friendships with other either EC educators or directors that can help you, like when you're like, oh, I have this challenge, you can pick up the phone, right? You make those friendships. I collaborate with lots of different childcare owners in my state, and that comes through those professional networks.
Oh yeah.
Um,
This year, I was
yeah.
just thinking in January we have an event. We partnered with OETA, a PBS Kids Ed Camp, and so that's a
Mhm.
huge networking opportunity that we really jumped on and we're really excited to offer. And they do like an unconference model where the participants are the experts if they want to be. So it's a huge networking opportunity. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, that sounds fun. What about advocacy? Let's talk about that. What types of things are you guys working on in the advocacy lane?
Yeah, we have a policy chair, and they set up, she's great. Our she has set up meetings with our national legislators. So Representative Tom Cole is from Oklahoma. We meet with him every year. And then we also meet with local legislators as well to talk about policies at the state level. Really look at different policy initiatives that really push the profession forward and help the industry. So, for instance, on like a micro level in Tulsa, one of our major cities, there was a bill that was trying to help childcare home providers in that area, because the laws of the municipality for the city were putting limits on how many kiddos they could have at their home center, and it wasn't even meeting the full, like it wasn't even like 4 or 5 children that they were
Wow.
allowed to have, let alone operating like a large family childcare home, so with an assistant being able to have 7 to 12 kids. So we were excited to be tracking those bills and advocating for providers in that area to be able to do their job, and to be able to have children in their childcare homes that they, their own businesses that they work so hard to get off the ground, but then also to be able to serve the kids and the families that they had committed to and that they cared for. So yeah, we do a lot of tracking of bills like that and keeping our membership updated on what's going on at the legislature, and just trying to inform in a non-biased way, like what bills are being run and how they would affect our field here in the state of Oklahoma. So we've had a lot of changes, especially coming out of the pandemic. We changed our stars quality system. So we used to be a 3-star on a 3-star system, which always confused people. Like, you don't go to
Yeah.
3 stars out of 3-star restaurants. Everything's on a 5-star scale. And
Hmm.
so we changed that to a 5-star rating system, and that was a big change for our providers. And so being able to keep people informed about the goings ons of the rating scales that were changing and making sure they were connected with, we call them like quality coaches, people helping them kind of achieve higher quality standards and getting 5 out of 5 on scales and things like that. We talk a lot about advocate. We changed our professional development ladder. So in Oklahoma, you have to reach a certain level of professional development through educations, trainings, etc., to be on the ladder at a certain level. So they changed that, made some changes to that in recent years, and just being able to keep the membership of our chapter apprised to what's going on and helping them to make sense of all the changes. That's another way in which I think we really advocate for our field and offer a membership benefit.
Yeah. Is in your state and I may not call it the right word, in our state
Go
it's
ahead.
CCAP, but is CCAP when it comes to Bright Stars, is there tiered reimbursement?
So yes, our we were kind of talking about this. So DHS in Oklahoma City, in Oklahoma, that's our regulator. So they oversee childcare subsidy, they oversee stars, they oversee licensing, they oversee any kind of like quality coaching that we offer. We have other DHS partners in that, so other programming that's funded through DHS but is maybe held outside of it, but all of the money kind of goes back to DHS for sure. And they basically, if you're, depending on where you're at on that professional development ladder, what scale you're at, and depending on how many stars the center you have, that affects your DHS subsidy reimbursement rate. And then also, like, if you're even able to accept subsidy, you have to be a certain star facility to do that. And so I'm trying to keep people like aware of all of the challenges and that some of, quite frankly, the bureaucracy that comes along with being in the childcare and the early childhood field. My husband is a lobbyist here in the state. He works on behalf of private business, which I tell him, childcare is a private business. It is not public ed. It's not K-12, but it operates in this little gray area where it's a private business for someone, but it's also a public service.
Mm-hmm.
And so it has to be regulated, and all of these things are good, but it does kind of, if you don't have someone there to help you navigate all of that red tape and some of that bureaucracy, it can be very cumbersome. Like you were talking about, people get into this field because they love and care for children, not because they're business moguls all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's one thing that OKAEYC wants to do more, is kind of advocate and help people be educated on the systems in our state so that they can be more successful providers and business owners.
Yeah. So, you talked about some resources. So what kind of resources are available for your members through your organization?
So we have, in addition to like just being able to connect in the community through our affiliates, CCAT and AEYC, there's some amazing publications. If you're a student, especially, and you need some peer-reviewed publications, those are included in your membership. So those are some great resources. And what I found is a lot of other professional organizations that are earned affiliates use NAEYC resources, and so they're just a really reliable source for providers to have access to. So yeah.
Do you all offer maybe discounts to other services, or let me rephrase that? Do other services offer discounts to your members?
Yes, definitely. So depending on what affiliate you go through, there are different, like NAEYC has a ton of stuff. I can't even name all of you can get discounts on insurance. There's an endless number of things. And it's one of those things that NAEYC is working on in their new membership model to not make it so overwhelming, the resources, to kind of tailor it or pick up on an algorithm of what you need specifically, instead of like, whoa, all this stuff, I don't even know where to start, because there is a lot of stuff out there to look through. So they're trying to narrow that down and make it a little more user-friendly to find those things.
Okay. Can you share maybe a success story of a member who has leverage their affiliation with your association and maybe a significant impact in early childhood education? Tell me about your champions.
So every year we do some awards, and we only have, I think there's 4 different awards that we give away. And so we like to highlight people different in different lights, not only empower others, but just to let them know, hey, thank you for doing what you're doing. And so I feel like those awards have really this over our leadership symposium that we just had November, we had a provider who had no idea. She got the Professional Advancement Award. She has finished her associate's degree and started on her bachelor's degree, and she has really just been working through that, and we just really wanted to highlight the work. She has also, through our affiliate, she volunteers as a committee member to help with conferences, so she's there, cheerleader at every conference that we have just about, and helping do whatever she needs to do. So we really kind of found out about her through other board members and things like that, and we're able to lift her up and offer her that award. So she was really, really happy to get that a pat on the back, like, you're doing great, keep going.
Yeah, there's oftentimes like so little recognition in this field, and so we love to do that and to highlight different champions. So we have like a policy type award we awarded to a local legislator who really championed childcare at the state legislature this year. We did that at our annual conference. And then we've got some titans in the field here in Oklahoma who we love to recognize. So I don't know if you've ever heard of Dr. Barbara Sorrells. She's from Oklahoma and does a lot of like trauma-informed care stuff. Yeah. So we were able to recognize her. And then at our most recent leadership symposium, we had a panel of people from Oklahoma who were just big actors in the field of early childhood and in childcare. And they did a panel talking about the profession and where it's been and where it's going. And we love putting those voices on the main stage, if you will. And they're a source of inspiration for the people coming up in the field in our state now. Our state it's tough to be a provider here, I think, especially if you're from a rural area. We have a lot of rural populations, and so it can be really isolating. And we just love to be able to provide space for our members to feel connected to one another, but then also people like Dr. Sorrells, people like Ruth Ann Ball, who are a source of inspiration in their day-to-day work.
Sounds like you guys are doing some amazing things there. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you really want to share?
Just, I think if there's one thing that you take away from listening today, to join your local affiliate and to get involved. I think sometimes we're always waiting for something to reach out to us, and the best thing we can do is just seek it out, especially in this field. If you're a childcare home provider and you're just alone 12 hours a day with little covered in somebody else's, I always joked that I would spend my whole day covered in other people's bodily fluids, covered in snot, covered in slobber, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
That can be so exhausting and so isolating. So taking time to connect at social events, networking events, conferences, pouring into yourself through the professional development opportunities that your local affiliate will offer you, oftentimes for not that costly of an annual membership. It's so worth the investment so that you can be the best teacher, the best provider you can be. It's going to make you better for your kiddos, but also for your own family and in your own personal life if you seek out connection. And I think you have to be proactive in that in this field for sure.
Yeah, I agree. That's beautifully put, Bailey. What is there anything you want to add to that, Amanda?
I would agree. Like, why to be a member? And as I said, like at the beginning, just talking about how it just it feels great to be a part of something so bigger. I haven't always felt valued when I was working in early childhood, but when I started to really dig, and I had to seek that out, I had to find it through different sources and really want to engage in order to find that. And so, yeah, like she said, I think, just wanting to be a part of something bigger and know that there is more to this. There's so many opportunities, even outside of the classroom, that you can be a part of this field if you feel that connection to it, and to not feel like that, that's the end. If you that's the only thing that you can do. There's so many things that you can do. So it's a wonderful profession to be a part of. So
yeah, I agree. Well, thank you, ladies, so very much for shedding a spotlight on the amazing work that you guys are doing. Thank you for all that you do for our field. And, I would say to those of you that are in Oklahoma that are not a member, give these ladies a call. I will put their website information down on the bottom and the links below. And as always, remember, for those of you who are listening, you're tuned into the Childcare Directors Chair podcast, and it is the small details that make a big impact on the success of your childcare business. That's all for today. Have a great day.
thank you.